Hey guys, Casual Gaming Poet here with my part 2 of my Southeast Game Exchange pickups. Basically, generally for these videos, they're probably going to be broken up into two parts. The low-end stuff and then the high-end stuff set aside basically 30 plus, give or take a couple bucks. This way you guys can actually take a look at it, look at stuff, and a little bit more in depth to possibly answer any questions you guys had, or if you wanted to check your own stuff for authenticity or that kind of stuff, you'd be able to compare. So to get started in here, the first thing we've got here is a copy of Spiritual Warfare. Alright, let me zoom in on that for you guys. Oh, it's so dark. Alright, there you go. That's what the label looks like. There's the back of the cart. There you go. So I would open this to show you guys the board, but honestly I'm not sure how to do that. These Wisdom Tree carts don't look as sturdy as other stuff that I've seen. The folks at Video Game Cavern were nice enough to help me out with that, and gave me a really good deal on it there. I traded some of the extra stuff I had picked up there towards it, which pretty much covered the majority of the cost of it. So that was pretty fun. It was a good lookout, and just pretty much overall fun experience dealing with those guys. They were super nice. So the second thing we picked up is a copy of Lufia 2. Actually, not Lufia 2, Lufia the Fortress of Doom. So this is the first Lufia game. I've sort of been trying to... I work on building quality in my collection over quantity. So I try to put together a lot of either rare games or good games or games that end up being both. Generally, a lot of the Super Nintendo RPGs tend to be pretty good, so usually it's a snap buy, and I wanted to see if I actually liked it or not. I hadn't had a chance to really play it, hadn't really come across it a lot in the wild, figured why not pick it up. I think I got it for 28 bucks, which isn't terrible. So we're going to go and open this board. We've got our bit right here. Whoops, wrong bit. We're doing a bad job of this. Yeah, so it's like I basically end up... so this is basically these first 10 or so vids are basically going to be my test run of stuff, and trying to figure out what's going to be the best positioning. Right now, with the supplies that I have, I plan on getting a lighting kit, which is going to make these videos a heck of a lot easier. Whoops. Oh no, I knocked over my Ryu. My Funko. There goes the Vega. Ooh, it's the Ryu, yeah! Okay. That's basically the board. Looks good there. I also do this because a lot of the times some folks that I meet that start collecting ask me, how do you know a authentic board from a repro? I don't have anything really against repros or folks that like them as long as they charge a reasonable price for them. You know, because I think it's kind of disingenuous to try and make a ton of money off of someone else's work. So basically what we've got here is all manufactured soldering done. You can tell usually with reproduction boards they will have random soldering and it will be glooped all over the place. The chips would basically have masking tape over the front of them to basically make sure they didn't get reset from the ultraviolet light. Yeah, and you can tell a reproduction board when you see it. And it's one thing to know because counterfeiters are now really going all out two fake boards. Like, I think I saw someone post a faked Bonk Adventures where they used a 5-pin connector into Bonk, into a Famicom version of Bonk, and then sealed the cartridge shut with an authentic thing and got the label pretty darn close. The only way you were able to tell that it wasn't real easily would have been the weight of the cartridge, because 5-pin, the Famicom to SNES NES converter is pretty heavy, which was nuts. And get this tightened up here. Yeah, so this was a game I didn't have for the collection. Was really looking forward to it, trying it out, and kind of getting my game room back together before I move here a little bit. My current location I've got up to a year in, depending on when I would necessarily go overseas. So the second game we have here is Ninja Warriors. Another Taito game. Open this up and take a quick look at this. Yeah, I was really excited to play this. I love beat 'em ups, and this one looks pretty good. And it's one of the more, I guess, officially rare games on the Super Nintendo. It's no Wild Guns, it's no Pocky and Rocky, but its rarity on Nintendo Age is a 7. And I did not see a lot of copies of this weekend. This game and the next game I'm going to show you guys, I saw less than 2 or 3 copies over 70 vendors. Once again, we check the back of the board. Back of the board looks great. No many, just straight soldering, and the front of the board, Nintendo branded, all that. Everything looks good. Also, there are, I'm positioned in a really awkward way right now. I'm going to take this for a second. There we go. Yes, I'm positioned kind of awkwardly to basically film the board openings on these for you guys. But yeah, I like the resources that Nintendo Age has available for its users. I like the rarity guide because it really shows you what's rare and what's not, and what can basically help you build your collection in the way that you want it to. With that being said, if you did a quick Google search, you would just see rarity guide pop up. Those rarities are grossly inaccurate. I learned that basically when I first started collecting. I used that site a lot, and it wasn't very good. Now, the next thing I'm going to show you guys, it's not the most expensive game that I own. Actually, this game and the other game, this game and Ninja Warriors are roughly the same price point. But it's a game that I passed on, and I passed a while ago. I didn't have an opportunity to buy it. I was up at Save Point because I was in Charlotte for a Magic the Gathering tournament, and did not have an opportunity to purchase this because I needed to sell some cards to swing some money to get it. Not the most expensive Super Nintendo game that I have, but it'll be fun to add to the collection, and it does work. I did actually test it earlier. And that game is Ninja Gaiden Trilogy. One of the rarest Super Nintendo games, at least from collection standpoint. It's not in high demand as other games that might be a little bit more rare than it, or a little less rare than it, because it is the 3 Ninja Gaidens all on one cart, remastered and censored, and honestly it does not play very good. And it's basically, it's not an original game, it's just that. Once again, pop it open, knock over Bison, take a quick look at the board. Just the back, looks great. You also want to do this to check for bit rot, just to make sure everything will work. And looks great. Oh, sorry. Instead of showed you guys, I was looking at it myself. Everything looks great. ROMs are right. Board looks right. So yeah, like it's super exciting to finally add this one to the collection after the years. You know, and I have only seen this game approximately 3 times in 8 years. There are some games I own I haven't seen since I've bought them. My area is very hit and miss. Unfortunately, because of my work schedule, I haven't been able to go out to the flea markets as much as I'd like to, or thrift or that, and it's kind of been affecting basically pay rate wise. I mean, not enough to like really affect me, but like enough for, you know, throwing me off by a couple hundred, you know, bucks a month, which would usually be fun money. Let me check the back there. You see everything looks great. Yeah, so these four games are basically what I picked up this weekend. This is basically where the majority of my money that I spent at Southeast went. Absolutely worth it. Absolutely a blast. The convention was so good and I met so many cool people. But that's basically it. Make sure if you haven't seen part 1, check out part 1. If not, thanks. Hit that subscribe button, comment, and let me know if you enjoyed it. Peace.
Hot